What's going on, guys? Coming back at you with another Bitcoin video. This time we're going to be looking at one of my new favorite sites to look at. It's called lookintobitcoin.com. Pretty simple to remember it. This website allows you to look into the on-chain analytics of Bitcoin. Unlike the stock market, Bitcoin is a completely open ledger that everyone could look at every single time, and we got thousands of validators all over the world. And because of that, people could take all of that data and really look at what's going on in real time. We don't have to wait for earnings reports like stocks and everything like that. We can know exactly what's going on in Bitcoin every single minute, every single second of the day. And there's some really cool charts in here that could help decide when's the best time to buy, when's the best time to sell, and when's the best time to hold on to your Bitcoin. I'm just going to kind of quickly go over the site, show you a couple of my favorite charts, but the link will be in the description to check this chart out. And just for me showing you this, I think that alone warrants a like, but that's up to you. And if you haven't checked out my channel yet, check it out. I have over 100 videos all about stocks, cryptos, and a bunch of Google Sheets that you could, really cool Google Sheet charts that you can make, or portfolio trackers. And finally hit 15,000 subscribers. A year ago today, I only had 150 subscribers. So huge thanks to all of you guys smashing that subscribe and like button. But let's get back to the website. So you can see, very simplistic website. We got three sections. We got learning, Bitcoin charts, and then indicator alerts. We're going to be mainly focusing on Bitcoin charts, but let's jump over to learning really quick. I think this is cool, kind of help you walk through the charts, what you're looking at, just so you know how to read these charts. I think that's very cool that you can kind of learn about them if you're new to charts, or if you want to know what's going on in these charts. Check that section out, but let's jump over to the actual charts section. So it's broken up into a couple of sections. We got market cycle charts. We got on-chain charts. This is probably my favorite one right here. We got address balance charts, which is very cool. And then the Lightning Network charts. So let's just look at a couple of my favorites from each section. First one is the very first one, 2-year moving average multiplier. So if you don't know what this chart is about or what's going on, you could read right here. We got the indicator overview, why this happens, who created it. But pretty simple to understand what's going on here. Red is pretty much when it's overvalued. Green is when it's undervalued. And you can see only a couple of times do we enter the red zone and the green zone. So this is a great chart to look at when you know, hey, I just got a windfall of money. When should I buy into Bitcoin? You put that huge chunk into this green section and you dollar cost average the rest of the way. Maybe even stop dollar cost averaging when it's in the red section. This is what I'm doing right now because we're just in between the two, dollar cost averaging every single week. But if we drop in and it's this little green zone, here I'll even zoom in. So as soon as we enter this zone right here where it's green like that, that's when I'm going to start getting more aggressive, putting more money in. As soon as we enter a red zone like this, I'm probably going to stop dollar cost averaging and wait until it cools off because it is definitely overvalued at that point. The chart alone, it's not like it's TradingView. TradingView is probably the best charting software, but I mean, this one's all right. There's really not too much that you could do with it other than looking at the indicator, but you could auto scale, you could zoom in, zoom out, pan, and then you could like do a little spot zoom, like, hey, I want to see what's going on here. And then you could go over to pan and move it to see it that way. And then you could just auto scale, which brings it back. Not the best charting software, but it's as good as we're going to get for free. But that's that one. Let's go back now and look at this one. Okay, that one I like a lot, but this one's probably my favorite one. It is the stock to flow model. And this was actually created by Plan B. Check out his Twitter page. This guy pretty much came up with this model, which is comparing it to gold and silver, and it's stock to flow. So as we have, obviously the stock to flow will go up in price, and everything's been following his stock to flow model pretty persistently. And if he's right, 2025, we should see $1 million Bitcoin. So very interesting watching this chart play out. And so far, it's not broken. He's predicting this cycle to be anywhere between 100,000 and 228,000. So very curious to see where we land. But pretty simple chart, not much to it. Again, check out Plan B on Twitter. There's a couple of other interesting charts. Like I do like this one, the logarithmic growth curve. All these are in log. You got to look in Bitcoin in log. You can't look at it in just the regular format. Log is when your price goes up exponentially. So that's why it looks like this. Otherwise, it's impossible. It's just going to look like a curve up like that. And it's impossible to see what happened back in 2012 all the way up to pretty much 2017. But I do like this one as well. You can see that you hardly ever get out of the two bands, the most outer, the two most outer bands. So really interesting chart as well. I mean, I like looking at this middle line. That's pretty much fair value to me. And it looks like we're pretty much at fair value right now at $46,000. But let's move on. You can check out the other charts if you want. Let's go on to on-chain charts. So I think the on-chain charts are really cool. Kind of shows you what's going on. Like perfect example is 1 year HODL wave. This is showing you how many people, how many addresses have been holding on to a Bitcoin for a full year or more. And you can kind of see that here's the accumulation phase, and then the price goes up, so people start selling, then people start accumulating again. So it is cool seeing that. Again, you could read up on it down here, but let's go back. This one is probably one of my favorites, the relative unrealized profit loss. So this is pretty much showing you the market cycle, the psychology of the market cycle. You got capitulation, you got hope and fear, optimism and denial, greed, and then euphoria. You've probably seen that psychology chart before of the phases of the stock or crypto going up and down. And this is it right here on a chart for Bitcoin, so you can check that out. The red line is what part of the psychological phase, or whatever you want to call it, what part of the phase we're in. And then the blue line is the actual Bitcoin price. Again, it is logged, so keep that in mind. But you can see that recently this drop, we dropped back into the denial slash optimism phase, and we just re-entered the greed phase. So it'd be cool to see this supercharge all the way up into the euphoria phase, and hopefully we could break past 100,000, all that fun stuff. But really interesting chart to look at. Another good way to gauge, hey, should I be buying or not? You want to be buying obviously in the green, obviously in the white. You want to be holding in the yellows, and then you want to be selling or holding in the euphoria phase. So very, very cool chart as well. But let's click back again. Let's see if there's another one. Let's see, which one do I want to, let's just check out maybe this one. I mean, I'm not even too familiar with all of these charts. I don't know this one, but pretty much it looks like, very similar to all the other ones where it's checking, hey, here's a good time to buy, here's a good time to sell, here's where we are right now. Again, not too familiar with this chart, but if you guys like it, you can read up on it and learn more about it. But let's move on to the next section. So this is all our on-chain charts. Now this is the address balance charts, which I find very interesting. It's showing you how many wallets have over 1 Bitcoin, over 10, over 100, and then over 1,000. I think it's so neat how all of us could see this. This is just open information. Here's everyone's wallets that's over 1 Bitcoin. And you could see throughout the years, it just slowly continues to grow, and it's starting to curve now. Mainly because 1 Bitcoin is now $46,000 as opposed to over here when it was only $10. So this will continue to decrease. It will continue to plateau because it's going to get harder and harder to buy 1 Bitcoin. But about 800,000 wallets have over 1 Bitcoin. So are you part of that 800,000? Let's go back, and I guess, let's look at, now we saw the smallest, let's look at the biggest, over 1,000 Bitcoin. So here's the institutional investors. And you can see this is also pretty much plateauing as well. I mean, this was a massive ride up, and that's when the price was still below $100, but now it's starting to curve out. That is the address balance charts. And then lastly, we got the Lightning Network chart. So if you don't know what the Lightning Network is, definitely check it out. But let's first look at all of the Bitcoin nodes. So here's all of the nodes, all of the validators on the network. And you can see we're now at an all-time high, over 13,000, almost 14,000 nodes on the network, which I think is very impressive, especially because the Lightning Network is still in beta test. But even cooler, this shows you how many coins are on the network right now. And you can see right here, we are over 2,200 coins, over 2,200 coins. And then the red shows you how much money is within it. And we just recently went over $100 million. So there's $100 million worth of liquidity on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. If you don't know what the Lightning Network is, definitely look it up. Uh, this is what's going to help Bitcoin scale for mass adoption and all that good stuff. But also a very, very cool chart. Again, you can check all of the information out down here. But guys, that is Look Into Bitcoin. Great website, in my opinion. You could check out all these charts. The last tab was your indicator alerts. Let's see what this is. I don't even know if this is a paid. Yeah, this you got to pay for. So if you want alerts, you're going to have to pay for it. So we're not going to go over that. But I think the charts alone, especially for the fact that it's free, great tool to use, especially if you're getting into Bitcoin. Again, that's lookintobitcoin.com. Link will be below. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, as always, I will see you in the next one.